a consistent refutation of the truth helps to define our understanding of the truth.
Yeah.
So error is to be avoided at all costs, but it is to be learned from at every forced opportunity.
About a decade ago, I was speaking at an ADF event. So this is like back in the run-up to Obergefell. And I just pointed out, and it's only become, to my mind, the statement has become more true over time. But I said, look, heresy always forces the church to develop a more robust understanding of orthodoxy. And so like for the early church, all of the heresies were about the nature of God. They were Trinitarian heresies. They were Christological heresies. And because of the heretics, we got like this wonderfully rich, robust, like Augustinian, Athanasian understanding of Trinitarian Christological
I'm getting ready to head to Turkey to speak at a conference on the 1700th anniversary of Nicaea.
And that creed is in response to various heresies. All right, so
we got to be careful here. So I make that argument when I teach historical theology or systematic theology. I say I have to say this carefully. I cannot say that error precedes truth.
No,
that's false. That's false. But the articulation of error often brings a clarifying articulation of truth. And so Jesus Christ was truly God and truly man, homoousios with the Father, before Nicaea.
From the get-go.
Right.
But we weren't yet articulating it with as
We didn't
great
know we
precision.
had to say it that way until the heretic Arius committed heresy.
Yeah.
And so now you have a statement you have to refute. And this is what I love seeing students catch on to.
Yes.
Okay, now you have a statement of error. Okay, now you refute it. You refute it. You're saying things you didn't know you had to say
before.
Right.
And so if the early church was largely focused on God, the heresies and therefore orthodoxy's response, you fast forward 1,000 years, Reformation, Counter-Reformation, we're on either side of who was the heretic, who was the orthodox. But I think we would agree the church as a whole came out with greater clarity and ability to articulate the truth.
Oh, my goodness.
Because of that.
My goodness. I mean, so this is fun stuff. And I love it, again, when students see this. Okay, see this. What did Catholics believe Catholicism was? Well, you really don't find out till the Council of Trent. The declaration and decrees of the Council of Trent.
Who gets anathematized.
Right. I mean, the Catholic Church is saying things you never said before.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of this was assumed.
Yeah.
But you can't find a statement from the 13th century about justification the way which you do in the decrees of the Council of Trent. So now the Council of Trent denies justification by faith alone, which it did not do officially until then. But the Protestant statements have, and I'm going to say this as a Protestant who just got to declare these things in Geneva and Wittenberg, the articulation of Protestant understandings of these things also came out. You have Luther at Leipzig and Heidelberg, places like this, in disputations, where in an argument he finds himself saying things that are now central to Protestant theology no one had ever said before.
Right.
Didn't have to till he had to.
Until the now, I would push back a little. I mean, I think if you read through some of the scholastics, both Albert the Great, Thomas Aquinas, Anselm.
I know where you're going.
Some of this is there, but
it's not declared as the doctrine of the church.
It's not. None of those theologians have any magisterial authority. That's fair. But what I was trying to go with this.
You open the door.
ADF talk. But if the ages of heresy was, Christological and Trinitarian, ecclesial, the nature of the church, soteriological, the nature of salvation, today's heresies aren't primarily about the nature of God or the nature of salvation. They're about the nature of man, right? And they're all like almost like anthropological heresies, which is forcing us as Christians to do a better job articulating both theologically and philosophically our anthropologies.
Well, I agree with you.
And I think that's a good thing.
I have to say, I've got to press back. I don't think any of the Christological and Trinitarian heresies have gone away.
No.
They're all there. And quite frankly, liberal everything is just a swamp of that.
But think about it this way. Amazon won't refuse to sell your book because of your Christology or your Trinitarian theology.
No,
Amazon
you
will
committed,
refuse to sell your book,
and did
if you say
your book.
Yes,
your book. Yes,
right. So, and that's what I'm getting at. Obviously, those old heresies don't go away,
right?
But they're not the focal point. They're not the tip of the spear.
Culturally, yeah. I mean, the faculty at Harvard, Yale, and Stanford don't care about our Christological teachings. They care about our refutation of transgender ideology.
Yes.
So,
but the people who have the most orthodox theology of God and of salvation,
not by coincidence,
were the ones that were the first and the boldest to speak out against the transgender stuff, right? Because what we believe about God and the nature of reality, what we believe about the nature of salvation, that influences what we believe about the nature of the creature.
Because we start with metaphysical reality,
ontological
ontological reality.
Yes.
You know, Ryan, just to kind of make your point, theological liberalism in Protestantism really began to catch fire in the 19th century and spread from Germany across the Atlantic. And you had figures such as Harry Emerson Fosdick, famous preacher in New York City. And the thing I often point out to people is, you know, he was a heretic. And by any classical Christian definition, the Catholic Church and confessional Protestants would be in agreement on that. But you know what? He was absolutely clear who a boy was and who a girl was. He was absolutely clear what marriage was. And it's really interesting. And this is a part of what I'm writing about right now in terms of the book project. It's really interesting how many of them said, we've got to ditch the theology to save the morality.
Right.
And, you know, that was the German equation. You know, we want to save Christian morality, the basic, you know, moral structure of Germany, Protestant Germany. So we'll just ditch the supernatural. We'll just ditch the virgin birth. We'll ditch the inerrancy of Scripture. And there's an anti-Judaism in it that's fierce. You know, so we're certainly going to reject the Old Testament.
Marcionite heresy.
And Marcionite, and frankly, just racist, anti-Semitic. You know, and so we're going to do that. And but we're going to do it to save religion, to save Christianity as a culturally stabilizing force. And you know what? You can't have the one without the other. As an evangelical Protestant theologian, and I think it's because, and you know, I've kind of made a crusade on this, and that's getting evangelical Protestants used to talking in ontological language. That's the address I gave at NatCon just a few weeks ago, and the book I'm writing right now. And you know, no one in the 19th century in Christian leadership was worried about losing a grip on ontology.
Actually, so I'll slightly push back. I think Leo the 13th was. And the only reason, you know, I mentioned that is because, you know, the new Pope is Leo the 14th. He's explicitly said, if you read through some of Leo the 13th, and, you know, he wrote dozens, possibly over 100, if I remember correctly, encyclicals. But things like Rerum Novarum, which is his big encyclical on social questions, it is about social ontology.
No, I guess you know, I want you to continue that. But what I'm saying is, on the left, there was not an acknowledgement that their rejection would eventually be ontological. Excuse me.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's fair. I think someone like Leo saw where this was going. Because, and if you think about it, Russ Hittinger, a great Catholic scholar, you know, he points out that if what Leo is trying to articulate is that there are all of these social ontologies in between the individual and the state. And so think about who are some of his contemporaries. J.S. Mill, radical individualistic.
Absolutely.
Karl Marx, radical collectivist, right? And both of them are writing in the mid-1800s. Rare, you know, what Leo the 13th papacy is, you know, 1880s through early 1900s. You know, he's in this milieu in which he sees that there's both the radical individualism, radical collectivism, and he's trying to articulate like the dignity of society, which is the title of Russ's new book that just came out, The Dignity of Society. The idea that there are societies other than the state. They have ontological existence.
Starting with marriage and the family.
Exactly. And that's what I'll be talking about tonight.
Well, that's what I'm talking about tonight. So we're going to have typical territory.
They scheduled it well. Because hopefully, I mean, we won't repeat each other, but we'll complement each other. So only in that sense, I'm guardedly optimistic and hopeful that part of the reason why Leo the 14th chose this name was that The 13th is writing in the context of the Industrial Revolution. Our new Leo is writing in the context of the technological revolution. And obviously, the original Industrial Revolution was a technological revolution. It was the steam engine. But we now are living through tech, right? Technological revolution in the sense of like digital technologies. And, what they could do in terms of how we understand what it means to be human, how we experience what it means to be human, how we live out what it means to be human. Yeah. There's quite a bit at stake there, because I think our technologies habituate us just as much as our theories do.
Absolutely.
Right? We have to take both the material and the immaterial sides of reality seriously, both the ideas and the infrastructure. So anyway, so just to say that, in the 1900s or 19th century, I think Leo saw the importance of the social ontology.